Will the bubble burst? Approximately 2 weeks ago, Russia decided to invade Ukraine. The Bank of Canada, 6 days later, decided to increase the interest rates. And on top of that, we have inflationary pressures that are increasing inflation more and more, which is putting concerns into today's consumer in the real estate market. Hello everyone, this is Rodrigo Robalino, and in today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about all these events and what's happening. And I'm going to answer the question, will the bubble actually burst? A few questions that I'm getting. These are a few questions that I'm getting from my clients, people that we know, and I want to answer it in this video. In this video, I will share, what I'm currently seeing in the market, what I predict will happen in the next, 3 quarters that's left for the rest of this year. And I will also give you some tips and where are there opportunities if you're buying, a seller, or you're an investor. I hope you're finding these videos of value and I hope that you'll be able to share them. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell, help us out with the growth of this channel, and I really, really appreciate it. But for now, let's get on to the video. All right, so let's start the video and let's start with what's happening in the market. In reality, today's market is very different than January and February. In the last 2 weeks, a lot of things have changed. We've been trying to gather as much information so that we can guide our clients as much as we can so they can make the right decisions with the right facts on the table. The reality is that January, February, we had very low inventory, we had high demand, prices were increasing astronomically, and as soon as things, now we're seeing that this market has changed slightly. We're seeing that, for example, that in the condo market, we're still seeing high demand. We're still seeing that condos with great location, great layouts, and anything priced under $1 million still having a good demand. And they're selling pretty strong. So I'm not worried about that segment yet. The housing market, however, has turned a little bit. When I say that the housing market has turned a little bit, is that demand has decreased. We are seeing a little bit more inventory in the market. And offer nights, on offer nights when we had bidding wars, the sellers always had the upper hands. In the last 2 weeks, we've seen a little bit of a different story. We're seeing that on some offer nights, sellers are not getting multiple offers. If they're lucky, they may get 1, 2, or 3 offers, and sometimes at the prices that they were not expecting. Buyers are not overpaying for properties, and that emotional buyer that was willing to push across the limits is no longer there. And therefore, it's important to realize that if you're thinking of buying and selling, because today's market, the selling strategy is going to be key when you hit the market so that you can capture as many people as you can and try to capture the best prices possible. And in the same hand, if you bought something and you're now a seller, this strategy is going to be crucial to make sure that you're able to get the results that you wanted. This brings me to my next topic in the video, which is what are my predictions based on the current market conditions. I'm talking about supply and demand, but at the same time, these macro factors, which is the rising cost of gas, oil, food, and other essentials, it's putting a lot of pressure on people. It's putting a lot of pressure on their monthly cost. And with that being said, what's happening is that some of these purchasers are llooking at their budget and they're saying, okay, now that my circumstances are changing because of these increase in prices, now my budget, on my monthly basis budget is going to go lower, and therefore I'm not willing to spend as much as I thought, a month ago, for example. And therefore, buyers are going to move from different brackets. Perhaps they were looking, let's say, in the $1.5 million range. Now they're going to be looking in the $1.3 million range or the $1.2 million range. Other buyers are going to exit and they're going to say, you know what, we're just going to wait to see what happens with this market. And this is essentially what will decrease demand. And because of the decrease in demand, I think we're going to have a little bit more options when it comes to buying. At the same time, I think with March break coming along, I know that tons of people are traveling during this March break, and I think people are going to be enjoying, people are going to be having fun. Finally, we're going to be able to get out. We haven't been able to do this during COVID, and I think that after March break, we are going to have a lot of inventory coming to the market. That includes houses and condo. Talking to other top performers in the industry, I know that there is many listings that are coming, and therefore that's going to balance the playground. When it comes into the ground of real estate, it's all about supply and demand. And as supply increases and demand decrease, we're gonna see more of a stability. I think that at the end of the day, when we look at prices, every year we see that prices go up. At some point they go down. Similar to this chart here that I'm just going to show you here. Take a look at it. Even in the last 2 years where prices increased like crazy, we did see some dips during the year that at the end of the day, of course, the average price did increase, but those dips are what allows buyers to get into the market, and you have to look out for those opportunities. And that opportunity, I'll tell you, is going to be in the next 30 to 60 days because we're already seeing it, and we're going to see it even more. So if you are a buyer, this might be a chance to take advantage of it. However, there is a part that we need to talk about, which is the elephant in the room, and these are our external factors that will affect the real estate market. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the next 3 to 6 months to 9 months by the end of this year, but potentially we might see a slight recession. And when we look at factors such as what's happening with the conflict of Russia and Ukraine, it will be crucial on how the Western countries react to it, how we actually, how they deal with the situation and what support they give to Ukraine, how that support is communicated, and how that support is perceived by the country of Russia. Because during the Cold War, a lot of the Western countries made mistakes, which made it worse for everybody. And I hope we've learned from the past and this doesn't happen. The other thing to look out for is fiscal and monetary policy. We're going to see changes that are going to be happening through our government, whether that's locally, provincially, or federally. These things are going to be changing due to external factors that are going to affect our economy, and they're going to need to make changes right off on the bat. These changes can take place very quickly, so we do need to monitor for these things. Now, again, as you go through this journey and you're looking and you're thinking, okay, should I buy, should I sell? I'm an investor, what do I do? Well, I'll tell you a little bit more about today's opportunities and where we see them. First of all, number one, my prediction is that we will see a lot more inventory after coming in March. And because of inflation, our demand is much lower. I think if you are a buyer and you were looking to buy, this might be an opportunity to get into the market for a couple of reasons. One, you are going to have a lot more options than you had in January and February. Perhaps you're not going to be dealing with 15, 20 offers on the table. You may only be dealing with 1 or 2 or 0. Bingo. You may hit a home where the seller has purchased something and now they're in need to close a deal. And that leverage will help you attain a good price. So you have to be active in this market. Prediction number 2 is that if you've been thinking about downsizing, yes, the peak of this market may have been gone. However, there's still very strong prices and strong comparables. If you were thinking about downsizing this year, this might be the opportunity where you actually sell high and you may catch a blow buy. So that's just incredible if you can catch that. Again, nobody can predict the market. Nobody can really say, okay, here's exactly what's going to happen. But, timing does tell. What we've learned and what I'm seeing for now is that we still have a strong seller's market. Yes, prices may change slightly, but not on the higher level. On the higher level, I think that they are going to stay stable for a bit. Now, again, there are external factors that we're not sure that when and if they're going to happen. But if those things don't happen, we do have a strong market for the upcoming months. Again, the future is not written. The future is unpredictable at this point. So if you are thinking of downsizing, this might be the right time. And my advice is to do it as soon as possible. Prediction number 3 is if you're an investor, this 30 to 60 days is the right time to get into the market. If you are looking at residential properties as income properties, this could be the time that you're looking for opportunities where perhaps, sellers have bought something and you can use that as leverage because now they will be, they have to sell and they'll be pressured to sell. And perhaps the price, they'll be more negotiable in terms of the price and price expectations. So, and I'm already seeing that. I saw 2 cases in the last 2 days where this happened. So properties that sold in January, February were much stronger price compared to the ones that sold in the last 2 days. Exact same house, exact same property. So those are things that you need to look out for if you're an investor, and those are opportunities. But once again, if you want to find those opportunities, you definitely need to be active in this market. I hope you're finding these videos of value. I hope that at the end of the day, you can take this information, put it into your situation, say, okay, how do I benefit from it? Or how do I plan for it? Like I said, at the same time, perhaps it's not the right time for you to move, but it's the right time to start planning, to look at your financials, to understand, okay, how do I deal with a potential recession? How do I deal that if the recession doesn't come? How do I deal with an increase of prices? Again, we're here to help you and support you. If this information is valuable to you or others, please don't forget to share it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little bell that reminds you. If I'm worthy of it and if we're worthy of it, I really am really thankful that you're watching this all the way. And if you have any questions, leave us comments, tell us what you think. Tell us what your predictions are. We'd love to read them and we'd love to answer that and go from there. All the best, and until next time, take care.